Hello students, welcome to my page. Here we had started the chapter number 7 lenses, and for that already we had studied some series of lectures. We had considered that, in which we had considered the points like lenses, types of lenses. Then also we had considered about the images formed by convex lenses as well as images formed by concave lenses. So that type already we had considered. Now the next concept we have to consider about the human eye. So if you are new to our page, you can access the previous videos of this chapter from the links which are given in the description. Now in this lecture we are going to start about the human eye and its working. Now why we have to study about the human eye? It is the basic fact. You should know why we are going to consider the concept human eye and its working. Now human eye and its working, in order to study that in the chapter lenses, because the human eye is actually one form of lens or one type of lens. So it is lens, one type of lens. So that's why we have to study about the human eye and its working in this particular chapter number 7, which is lenses, from the science and technology part 1. Now here we are going to consider part by part. That means some parts we are going to consider. That means the human eye is divided in different types or different parts, we can say that, and each part having its own function. That means it is not like that whole eye is performing all the functions. Eye is divided in different parts, and different part or different organ is performing the different function for the eye. Now here if we consider the starting part of the human eye, that means which is the first part which is going to work, that means before forming the image by the human eye, which part is going to work, that means from which part we are going to start the forming the image. So the first important part is cornea. The first important part is cornea. You can see it in the diagram also. So it is shown in the diagram. Now actually the cornea is outermost layer, or we can say that the cornea is a very thin transparent membrane or very transparent cover, thin transparent cover, which is present on the human eye, and the first light is falling on the cornea. Firstly the light will falls on the cornea. That means it will fall on the cornea and then it will enter into the human eye, and this thin transparent cover or that membrane is nothing but it is referred as a cornea, which is transparent. That means light is going to pass through it. Light is going to pass through it. Now light enters the eye through it, and maximum amount of light is refracted inside the eye at the outer surface of the cornea. That means it is made in such a way that the whatever be the amount of light is incident on that cornea, out of which maximum amount of light should be refracted into the eye. That means as the amount of light is more, then we are going to get the proper image on the eye. That means eye is going to form the proper image. So the basic function of cornea is to refract the maximum amount of light into the eye. Now the next portion, if we consider behind the cornea, that means after the cornea, one very fleshy screen is present. Behind the cornea, dark fleshy screen is present, and that dark fleshy screen which is present behind the cornea is referred as iris. That is our iris. Okay, so here the next portion is iris. Here you can see in the diagram also, which is very fleshy. If you compare the thickness of the cornea and thickness of the iris, so which is very larger, iris is very larger, thick, so fleshy, and it is fleshy, dark fleshy. And actually the iris is a colored part, and the color of the iris is may be different for different peoples. You may seen that some peoples, that means if you see the carefully towards the each and every people, so some peoples have different colored eye, like blue, bluish, or sometimes they have brownish color of eye. So that is color of iris, which is different for different people. So which is the dark fleshy screen which is present behind the cornea. Now in the iris there is very small hole. In the iris there is very small hole uh, of changing diameter at the center of the iris. That means this small hole is present exactly at the center of iris, and also it has ability to change its diameter, and it is referred as pupil. It is referred as a pupil of the eye. So third part is pupil. So the pupil controls the amount of light entering the eye. So it controls the amount of light. And if you see the function of cornea, its function is that maximum amount of incident light should be refracted inside the eye. But if that cornea is refracting more light, which is not acceptable by eye, which is not helpful, or which is not required, that much amount of light is not required by the eye, so in that case the pupil will contract or expand. That means it will change the diameter, and by changing the diameter it will control the amount of light which will enter into the eye. So this is the function of pupil. Now if the light falling on the eye is too bright, that means very large amount of light is refracted through the cornea, then in that case the pupil contracts. That means its diameter will decreases, and only the required amount of light will pass through the pupil into the eye. Or if light is very dim, that means very low amount of light is present, then in that case it will widens. That means it will increase the diameter, pupil increase its diameter, and then maximum amount of light will be allowed to pass through the pupil. So these in this way it will control the amount of light which will enter into the eye, which will entering into the eye. So this is the basic function of cornea. Then the next portion is on the surface of the iris there is bulge of a transparent layers. There is a double convex transparent crystalline lens just behind the pupil. That means after iris there is a bulge of transparent layers which is referred as a double convex transparent crystalline lens. So here you can see in the diagram crystalline lens is shown. So after the iris or behind the pupil the crystalline lens is present. The crystalline lens is present, and the lens provides small adjustment of the focal length to the focus of the image. That means in order to obtain the proper image of any object, it has small adjustment to change the focal length. That means the crystalline lens has ability to change the focal length. It has ability to change the focal length. So this is the basic function of crystalline lens. So this lens creates the real and inverted image of an object on the screen which is present inside the eye. That means the screen is present inside the eye, and on that screen the real and inverted image is obtained, because this crystalline lens is in the form of convex lens, double convex lens. So we know that we had seen in the previous lecture, I think in the lecture number 3rd, you can watch that video also. For convex lenses, images formed are real and inverted. Only that image is real, that means it is not in the form of real and inverted in last case, that means between optical center and focal point, if object is present very close to that lens, then only image is not real and inverted. So in all other cases, image formed is real and inverted. So that's why the crystalline lens of the human eye is also create the real and inverted image of an object on the screen which is present inside the human eye. So this screen is made up of light sensitive cells and it is referred as retina. So it is made up of light sensitive cells. That means they are sensitive to the light. That means they gets activated when light is falls on them, and that screen is known as retina. That screen is referred as a retina. So whatever be the image is formed by the double convex transparent crystalline lens, that image will be formed on the retina, which is in the form of real and inverted image. And here if we consider the crystalline lens is connected to the ciliary muscles, so the basic function of these ciliary muscles is to either widen or either to change the focal length of that crystalline lens. That means either it will get bulgy, that means it will flattens, or it will get widen, so like that. So the basic function of ciliary muscles is to change the focal length of that crystalline lens, and after that the image is formed on the retina. So these cells get excited when light falls on them and generates electric signals. So these signals are conveyed to the brain through the optic nerves. That means the retina is connected to the optic nerves. Different types of optic nerves are there. You can see here the optic nerves are shown here, and with the help of these optic nerves, the electric signal is transferred to the brain. It is transferred to the brain, and then brain will analyze these signals and converts them in such a way that we perceive the objects as they actually are. That means we are seeing the objects as it is. Though the image formed by the crystalline lens is real and inverted on the retina, still we are able to see that object as it is, or actually they are. Whatever be color of that object, whatever be the size of that object, all the things are cleared as it is, because whatever be the signals are sent through the retina with the help of optic nerves in the form of electric signals. That electric signals are analyzed by the brain, then brain converts those electrical signals again into the image, and we will get the sensation of that image, what it is actually are. So here you can see the function of that crystalline lens. So here it is shown that lens becomes the flat. When it will become the flat? When light coming from the distant object, that means it is present at a very large distance. At that case the lens becomes flat, and when the image is very close to the eye, in that case the lens becomes rounded. That means it will bulged. So in this way it has ability to flatten or to rounding. So while seeing object at a large infinite distances, the lens of the eye becomes flat and its focal length increases. And if we want to see the nearby objects, then lens becomes more rounded and its focal length decreases. So the focal length of crystalline lens is adjusted according to the position of object, and also it will do that with the help of ciliary muscles. So the capacity of lens to change its focal length as per need is called power of accommodation. Power of accommodation for the human eye. Sorry. So this is the capacity of lens to change its focal length as per need, which is referred as a power of accommodation. And although the elastic lens can change its focal length to increase or decrease it, it has ability to change the focal length either to increase or to decrease. So it cannot do so beyond a limit. It has certain limit. We cannot flatten or we cannot round that lens beyond a certain limit. So it has certain limit, though it has a power of accommodation, still it has certain limit. So that's why we are able to see the objects at a certain minimum distance from a normal eye without straining our eye. That means there is no stress on the eye, so which is referred as a minimum distance of distinct vision. That means there is no need to apply stress on the human eye, so that we are able to see the objects very clearly when we are bringing them close to the human eye. And the position of object at this distance is called the near point of the eye. So the distance at which we are able to see the objects very clearly without stressing our eyes, that distance is referred as a near point of the eye. And the near point for normal human eye is near about 25 centimeter. You can see, you can hold the finger in front of your eye, and if you bring it very close to your eye, you are not able to see it very properly. You have to strain your eyes, and if you bring it up to 25 centimeter, then you are able to see it very clearly, because 25 centimeter is a near point. And in the same way, our eye has a farthest distance of an object at which it is clearly visible without stress on the eye, which is referred as a farthest distance of the distinct vision. And the position of object at this distance is called as far point of the eye. And for normal human eye, that far point is nearly at infinity. So it is at infinity. We can see the objects which are present at very large distance. So in other words, you are able to see the moon. That is the best example. So moon is present at a very large distance, so that distance you can consider as a infinity distance. So in this way our normal human eye works. So we have seen in this lecture the different parts of the eye. Just remember, it will start from cornea, then iris. In the iris, pupil is there, which have the ability to change the diameter and to control the amount of light entering the eye. Then iris has a different color for different peoples. Then light will enter into the crystalline lens, which will form the image on the retina. Then retina send the signals in the form of electric signals to the brain, and then brain is analyzing the signals and showing the image as it is. And the minimum distance up to which we are able to see that object very clearly, that is our near point. And the farthest distance at which we are able to see the object very clearly without straining our eye, that is our far point. So the near point is 25 centimeter and far point is infinity. And whatever be the ability of our crystalline lens to increase or decrease the focal length, that ability is referred as a power of accommodation. And every human eye has a certain limit to increase or decrease the focal length. So that's why we have to consider these near point and far point of the normal human eye. So this is it for today's lecture. I hope you understand all the concepts regarding human eye. So thanks for watching the video. Again, I am requesting you that if you are new to our page, you can like, subscribe and share our page, and also press the bell icon so you will get updates in the future. So again, thanks for watching the video. Have a nice day.